economic crisis. Yes, the most successful companies really do think differently from everybody else in their industry. But more important than that, maybe, the most successful company, I apologize if this sounds simplistic, but the most successful organizations really do care more than everybody else about customers, about colleagues, about how the organization conducts itself in a world with endless opportunities to cut corners and compromise on values. You can't be special, distinctive, meaningful in the marketplace unless you also create something special, distinctive, meaningful in the workplace. Your brand, your strategy is your culture. Your culture is your strategy. One financial service company that I must say gets this better than anybody else, I think, is USAA. I don't know if any of you compete with them, do business with them, whatever the case may be, but I've spent a bunch of time in San Antonio with USAA, and it really is a kind of a miraculous sort of place. It's huge at this point. 7.5 million customers, 25,000 employees, $20 billion in revenues. I'm sure all of you know that what's special about their business is they only do insurance, banking, lending, whatever, for current or active members of the military and their family. And if you look at every J.D. Powers Awards, Business Week Customer Service Awards, if you look at all the awards for customer service, for technology innovation, they are always number one. As a service organization, as a technology innovator, they are completely off the charts. And I'm convinced that the reason they are so good at all of that is because they've become so good at cultivating this very powerful sense of identification between their people and their customers, and between their people and one another. One of the favorite things they do, they have 13,000 employees who do nothing but work the telephones every day and deal with soldiers, ex-soldiers, and their families. They've got questions about their mutual funds or their credit card statements or their car loans or whatever. And they've got lots of training programs to help these people along the way. A lot of it is technical training, skills training, but really most of it is, I guess, what I would call shared mindset training. So when you get hired on to USAA to be in the customer service department, you go for this 10-week intensive training course. And it's unlike anything I've ever seen. For example, you don't get a nice, complete, pleasant kit from HR. You get a deployment letter, very similar to the deployment letter that soldiers or National Guards people get. It says, you must report to San Antonio at 1,800 hours and get your stuff in order. You've got to go. It's very abrupt. It's clear. It's simple. It's not anything lavishly HR. You get there, and you start taking your class and it's this beautiful campus and everything else, and they've got great food in the cafeterias, but on a pretty regular basis for those 10 weeks, you don't eat that cafeteria food. You eat MREs, meals ready to eat, the same slog that the soldiers in the field are eating. You're in a classroom, you're doing 2 hours on internet, real-time chatting over the internet with customers and so on. You look back to the back of the room, and there are 65-pound backpacks stuck in the back of the room. And for the next 3 or 4 hours, as you're going from class to class around this campus, you lug around those 65-pound backpacks. Those are the same backpacks that soldiers carry out in the field. And every day for those 10 weeks ends with people gathering at night before they go off to dinner or eat their meals ready to eat, with folks from the USAA reading aloud letters from soldiers to their families or from families to the soldiers to get a sense of the lives and pressures and stresses and joys or whatever that their customers are going through. They call it surround sound. They want to spend 10 weeks absolutely immersing you, not just in standard operating procedure and how to answer the phone on the 3rd ring and how to work the internet system, but to immerse you in what their customers go through every single day. And I'm really convinced once you've experienced that as a member of this organization, how can you do anything but give the most incredible service you can ever imagine? How can you do anything but want to be as innovative as you can be with technology to make your customers' lives easier? The reason USAA was the first